Hello, you're listening to a very special episode of Popcorn Pals, where I sit down with Sophie Wilde and Zoe Terakes, the stars of Talk to Me. I'm Timmy Fland, movie buff, and this is Popcorn Pals, a popcorn podcast with Leigh and Tim spin-off, where I'll be joined by a rotation of movie-loving legend guest hosts to discuss the latest and greatest new big screen releases. It's the same salty fun with some new flavours. So let's talk to me for a bit and then jump straight into my chat with stars Sophie Wilde and Zoe Terakes. In Talk to Me, when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and opens the door to the spirit world, forcing them to choose who to trust, the dead or the living. Talk to Me is directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, from a screenplay by Danny Philippou, Bill Hinsman, based on a concept by Daley Pearson. The film stars Sophie Wilde, Alexandra Jensen, Joe Bird, Zoe Terakes, Otis Dahanji, and Miranda Otto. Talk to Me took the Sundance Film Festival by storm earlier this year, with the Aussie horror from first-time directors Danny and Michael Philippou getting the attention of renowned distributor A24 for its worldwide theatrical release. It is set to be the surprise hit of the year. It is a dark, terrifying, and authentic look at Australian youth culture and highlights the complexities around not knowing how to cope with your feelings as a teenager and finding outlets that mess with your mind. It also offers a really important conversation to have about mental health and how grief manifests itself. I had the best time chatting with the film stars Sophie Wilde and Zoe Terakes. Sophie Wilde graduated from NIDA in 2019, where she went on to book the lead in Eden, a 6-part series, and the female lead in The Portable Door for Stan, alongside Sam Neill and Christoph Waltz. Zoe Terakes is one of Australia's most exciting new actors. Zoe was most recently seen in the highly anticipated series 9 Perfect Strangers alongside none other than Nicole Kidman and Melissa McCarthy, and also Foxtel's Wentworth. And they are soon to be seen in Marvel Studios' Disney Plus series Ironheart. Zoe identifies as non-binary and transmasculine, and they are a vocal advocate and activist for trans rights within the industry and on a global scale. In my chat, Sophie and Zoe share with me the group bonding sessions they had during rehearsals, their involvement in shaping their characters, and the film's authentic representation of Australian youth culture. A deep dive into what their characters are grappling with and their surprising outlets that fill up their cup. I really enjoyed speaking with these two, and they are so lovely and generous with plenty of laughs along the way too. I hope you enjoy it, pals. So let's take a listen.
I heard it was the hand of a Satanist. The other hand's just out there.
Sophie and Zoe, thank you so much for speaking to me today. I loved this film so much. Congratulations. It's really, really great. And you know what? It's great to see you guys getting on and being here together, because your characters really don't like each other in the movie.
I'm like, what did Mia ever do to Hayley?
So much.
Well, I think the first thing that Hayley says to Mia when they see her is, "Oh, fuck me," isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But you all feel so comfortable in your individual characters and the space that you take up in the movie. How did directors Danny and Michael set the tone and dynamic on set to give you that freedom to really lean into your characters?
We did a lot of rehearsals before and a lot of kind of group bonding sessions, which I think really helped. I remember they were like, we need a bond. They were like, let's go to Tailem Town, which is the most haunted town.
The name the other day.
Most haunted town in Adelaide. And they were like, yeah, we should bond. We should go sleep in this town.
That's
how you bonded.
And they were like, let's
No,
bring
this
the
is
most
getting worse.
haunted doll in Australia with us. I was like, you wouldn't catch me dead.
Yeah, because the boys, they visited the Annabelle doll.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell no.
No.
My
They're
sisters
not well
used
in
to
their
have this
head.
collection of ceramic porcelain
No.
dolls, and they would just
No.
stare back at you. I'm like, absolutely not.
I'm
They're
out.
they're not coming with us.
No.
They're going. We'll donate them to Vinny's or whatever.
Literally,
Yeah.
someone else's problem.
Exactly. What input did you have into your characters in order to, find your look and your style and who you were, your essence?
I don't even really know what Hayley's gender is, do you? No,
think
I
it
don't
was
really know. It's never really
stipulated,
said.
really, yeah.
I mean, I don't think they saw this role going to a trans person, but they were obviously open to it. But yeah, they were so kind of open to Hayley being one of the boys and like a brother to Joss, and that was really cool just to like, I kind of got to lead that conversation, which felt really good. They were really beautiful.
They're
about
very
that
like,
stuff.
yeah, like kind of, I feel like open to like improvise quite a lot
Yeah.
and like, especially in rehearsals, we'd like do a lot of improv and then they would like write that into the script.
Yeah.
Or on the day, like just be like, like go, just do this. And
It's quite free.
Yeah, so free. I don't
That's
think
exciting.
I've ever worked on a job where I felt more free
Yeah.
as an actor to like
Yeah.
actually kind of do whatever I want, and if they didn't like it, they would be like, let's do it like this. But like, they've definitely facilitated an environment of freedom.
Yeah, and I think sometimes as well when you have directors be like, and improvise, you're like,
What do I do
I
with
think they
that?
kind of like, it's terrifying. But I think they kind of just, you knew the option was there. So if you had anything worthwhile saying, you felt like you could.
Yeah.
And it meant we kind of got some gold in like in that space.
To be able to lean into improvisation, you have to know your character deeply. And so I think that in that rehearsal space, that freedom to explore, you felt empowered to do that under the direction of Danny and Michael. That's cool. I want to talk about the Australiana of the movie. And I know, like, it can be cringe, can't it, when you hear your own accents and, how we as Aussies, like, deal with that. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable, look away. But it works so well here. Did you feel empowered as actors where you had your accent and you could lean into Sia in the car with Chandelier and the Crazy Frog ringtone, all that sort of stuff? Like, was that exciting for you as actors?
I find it really comforting, the Australianness of it. We were just saying this before. The boys didn't go into this going like, we're going to make a diverse film. I think they just made a film that is representative, like this is what Australia looks like.
Yeah, so
what isn't
authentic.
representative is having a scary movie full of cis blonde women. Like that's not what Australia looks like. And so I think it feels like a version of Australiana that isn't colonial and is one that we can be
Super authentic.
proud
yeah.
of
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, and to share with the world, right?
Yeah.
So that must feel really exciting that
Yeah.
more audiences are going to be seeing this movie soon. And what Australia looks like
Looks
and feels
like,
like
yeah.
in this context.
And I think especially like I love the fact that it's suburbia and it's the city and it's like really captures like Australian youth culture
Yes.
so authentically. And I haven't necessarily seen that in other films. Like I feel like we like to lean into like the bush and the landscape in Australian cinema, which is incredible. But I think this just feels so unique in what they've done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Talk to Me highlights complexities around not knowing how to grapple and deal with grief, right? It's a huge theme in this film. And teenagers finding outlets to release that sort of tension. And it offers a really important conversation around mental health. So these are things I was so surprised to experience through this movie that I really, really want to talk to you about. What are your characters dealing with in this film? I might start with you, Sophie.
When I first read the script, I was like, oh, like this very much is a meditation on mental health and grief through a horror lens, which I think is really interesting. And it reminded me a bit of like Haunting of Hill House, which I feel like deals with the same kind of ideas and themes. But yeah, Mia, like it's very much about grief and it's the loss of her mother and connection and her striving to find connection in all of these different places. And I think that's, really the foundation of her journey.
And Hayley's a bit mean, but like, what might be underneath their skin as to why they're like that?
It's so quintessential to being a teenager. It's this anger and you don't know what it's for or where to put it, but it's there. And it comes out in power, but it's not power. Like Hayley is this big, It's like there's a tiny person in there wearing a big kid suit. Yeah, and so I think it was interesting. I'd never played a role like that. For some reason, before that job, had always played very low status and so it was like it was really strange to feel the falseness, like the bravado of a role like that. Yeah.
I mean, Hayley does soften a little bit throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, because what goes on is
Yeah.
really
You'd hope so. You'd hope
exposed to
so.
some shit.
Yeah.
I related so deeply to Mia's character because I lost my mum when I was a boy, 6 years old. And so it was a bit of a sucker punch going in, and I can so relate to her need to want to talk to her mum. I'm trying not to get emotional because I didn't think I would react this way, but that must have been really challenging for you as an actress. How did you decompress going to that place day in, day out?
I find it kind of easy in a way to like switch in and out, but you know, I always think a shower is a great way to just, you know, get the shit off from that day. But there are definitely moments, like some days where you like go home, you're like, ooh, that was an intense day.
Yeah, there were days for you,
yeah.
man. Yeah, because Soph was doing like the most extraordinary work and the longest days. You know, like it was a lot to sustain over. How long was the shoot? Like
5 weeks?
6 weeks. Yeah.
6 weeks. Yeah.
I feel like you didn't decompress. No, you were just like, and let's go. Yeah.
Hopefully you're feeling a bit more centered.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely living the dream.
Sophie and Zoe, I've really loved talking to you. I've got one final question. How much fun was it to just go all out singing Chandelier, See Her in the Car? Like, I have
so much
done that several times myself. What's something that you have as an outlet with friends that helps you fill up your cup?
I feel like singing in the car with my
Yeah.
friends. We like always sing She's So Vain, Carly Simon.
Nice.
And yeah, I think that's mine.
Yeah.
I have a weird one.
Go on.
We do Being Alive. It's a Sondheim musical.
Oh, gosh.
It was in Marriage Story. It's very niche.
The theatre kid comes
Yeah,
out.
literally, I'm like, guilty. It was
love
in
that.
Marriage Story. Adam Driver does it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a
What a
real
movie.
hits home, man. Yeah, would recommend. Yeah, if in need.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on the movie. And
Thank
I've loved
you.
talking to you. Appreciate
Nice
it.
to talk to you.
What if we opened the door but we didn't shut it?
Delete it. Delete it, come on!
The spirits, they followed us.
We have to do something.
You want to do it again?
Both Sophie and Zoe are excellent in this movie, and you will be floored by the physical and emotional dedication Wilde especially commits to in this movie. Talk to Me is a must-watch at the cinemas, and it will surprise you how gripping and intelligent it is. Something I love about the horror genre, as it still offers the shock value of scares, but this one packs an emotional punch with some brilliant character work and practical filmmaking, which I absolutely love. I hope you enjoyed this special interview episode of Popcorn Pals with the stars of Talk to Me, Sophie Wilde and Zoe Terakes. I have many more episodes like this coming, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Talk to Me is in Australian cinemas from July 27, and as always, thanks so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Come and join in on the conversation. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram @Popcorn Podcast.